Employer wastes my time then refuses my withdrawal from interview process? Just wanted to share a recent lame interview experience. I was up to round 3 of interviews with a medium-sized consulting firm. On the Friday they asked me to prepare a 30-minute presentation with slides followed by 25 minutes of questions to deliver on Monday morning. Tough task, but I felt okay to rise to the occasion, and I worked on this for 67 hours on the weekend. When the interview starts, the interviewer starts asking normal behavioral questions and I'm wondering what's happened. The hiring manager who briefed in this task to me was also on the call and remained silent. And I didn't want to cut off the guy asking the questions. So it wasn't until late into the allotted time that I mentioned I did prepare the presentation if they want me to touch on that. The hiring manager asked me to send it through to them and then if I had any other questions. After the call ended I was bamboozled. And then the recruiter got in touch to ask how it went and I told her it was a confusing interview. And I'm not sure what happened. It wasn't until 3 days later that the recruiter got back to me and explained that the hiring manager forgot to brief in the other interviewers. I said I understand that and it's fair enough, but I've decided to withdraw due to that incident being a red flag in addition to overall not feeling I'm a match. She was livid. She told me how that's not a reason to decline a job. I was being too sensitive. That they were apologetic and it's up to me to move past this to not lose sight of the opportunity. I told her that interviews work 2 ways, so just like if I was 15 minutes late to an interview, they'd need to take that into account just like I'm taking this into account. I was trying to be polite on the phone when what I was really thinking was that they seemed delusional. The role is set up to fail and that it seems like a nightmare to work there with a manager who won't have my back. She ended the call refusing my withdrawal. Didn't know that was a thing. And saying the next step will be for her to reach out to the hiring manager to get her feedback about me. Honestly, I don't get these corporations. Now dreading her awkward follow-up call with no doubt lots of comments about how I'm unreasonable and unprofessional, so I welcome advice. Our petty fantasies, haha. Just block the number. Internal recruiter? You're hurting her KPIs by withdrawing. External recruiter? You're hurting her commission. Either way, not your problem. And a huge red flag regarding the company if she's internal and acting like this. You're making the right call. You told her you were withdrawing from the process. She has no say in that, and has no right to refuse the withdrawal. She may not like it, but it's not her decision. When she calls, I would definitely answer. However, I would act as if I was confused about why she was calling and then sort of laughingly say, I ended this process X number of days ago. I'm sorry you didn't listen and wasted your time. Then ask her if there was anything else you could help her with. And regardless of what she starts to say, talk over her and say, okay, great. Have a blessed day, in a super sweet way, and then just hang up. Tears of joy. Lol, you will work here, damn it, you have no choice. Meh. Take the next interview. Explain it to them directly. Please allow me to start today's discussion by informing you that I will not be working for your firm. For the last interview I was asked to prepare a day's work worth of materials that ended up being so unimportant to the process that it wasn't even mentioned to the rest of the interview team. This tells me that my efforts now are not valued. So there's no reason to believe that future efforts will be valued, noticed, or rewarded. I explained this to recruiter, but she appears to be as oblivious and tone-deaf as hiring mangler. Please consider me for futures roles should the hiring and management teams change hands. Any questions? Quote. She need that $. Holidays around the corner. Ridiculous. Tell that recruiter that her unprofessionalism is the actual issue and hook up with any of the other hundreds of recruiters out there. Imagine if your realtor refused to let you back out of a house after the inspection revealed foundation problems. She's not representing your interests at all. She can't force you to continue. Lol. Block her and move on. She's not even pretending to care about you. The recruiter gets paid when you accept the offer. I'd revel in having that call and laughing at her delusions being dispelled by reality, but I'm a spiteful fellow. This is the same energy as boss refusing resignation letters. Like, dude, what you going to do, force me to work for you? Ah, this isn't North Korean. You can't call the authorities to murder me if I don't show up. Wow. If you're dreading any follow-up calls, I'd definitely block the number, but I'd also be tempted to send an email to confirm what was discussed and your withdrawal. Maybe even try and find another contact to copy in. Keep in mind, she's a salesperson and only gets paid if you take the job. It's not unlike buying a house. The realtor, recruiter sinks time into you in order to get you to buy the house, take the job. If you end up declining, then they don't get paid for the time they spent on you. You both took a risk, but the fit wasn't right. Send her an invoice for the 67 hours that you worked on the presentation through certified mail. That should change her tune. Next step is to call her. Tell her you will be about 30 minutes late, and every 30 minutes, state the same thing for about 8 hours until you state that you will not be working there, and see how they like it when their time is wasted as they have wasted yours. Tell them, time is money and I don't get paid to be jerked around as I am not a porn star. Recruiters are typically paid by the hiring firm. This means she doesn't work for you. She isn't looking out for you. She is looking after her client, the company, and her paycheck. Once you understand this, the reason she gave you this advice counsel is evident. Her needs are not by default opposite of yours. However, if there is a conflict, a recruiter will typically never be on the candidate's side. You stopped the conversation at, "I'm withdrawing." Refusing to accept it? The recruiter isn't able to refuse it. Imagine what chaos and lack of decency they will have if you went forward. It's like dating. If your date doesn't get no means no, you shouldn't marry them thinking it gets better. This is next level stalking. Tell them you'll move forward with interviews after you're compensated for the time you spent preparing for the interview at the bill rate they'd bill you out to clients. If they were really sorry, they'd put their money where their mouth is. The first red flag should have been them asking you to do all that work with no pay. 8 hours of work and a presentation is just stealing from you.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.